Hello, I'm Justin Perkins. This is Talk Junkie. It's kind of like a hybrid because this originally I was going to start with my new web series deal, Talk Junkie TV, but it's not quite ready yet. It's 9 o'clock at night. I'm drinking coffee, and then I wonder why I can't sleep. Haven't done anything in a couple of days. Reason being, I've been sick and I've not felt real good. Wasn't COVID. Um, my nose has been jabbed more than enough times in the last 2 weeks to know for sure it wasn't COVID. And I'm glad it wasn't. I'm tickled to death it wasn't. It's like a weird thing. We kind of want to get it over with, but then you don't. But I'm back. I just recently recorded a show that won't air until Thursday with Spooky Family, and that was really fun. And doing something tomorrow night for yet another podcast that's not mine. That'll be fun. And then an actual real episode with another person on with me, hopefully, if schedules don't conflict, because like I said, it's 9 o'clock at night before I'm getting to record something. Everybody else isn't that insane. They can't always, work all day and then do that. But if everything works out Thursday night, do an episode with Mandy and maybe a special guest. I don't know yet. She's trying to work that out. Coffee's good. I know everybody loves it when I slurp and sip into the mic. It's one of them ASMR things where I just talk really softly and then I pick up the coffee and I put it to my lips and that ruined half the audience, but that's okay. I want to start off with a couple of emails. Um, this is from should give your real name, but I'm not going to. Dear Talk Junkie, you can refer to me as the Truth Seeker. Ooh, I found come across. Let's try that again. I recently found you because I came across one of your videos on YouTube. It was a video on the Ingersoll Lockwood site. I would like to state many things about that video, but the two most important things is one, you're inaccurate. The things you're saying, you're just saying because you're not a true believer in the cause. But that's not even the biggest problem I have with the video. The biggest problem I have with the video is I had to sit through almost 15 minutes of BS to actually see the real video. Please do not read your emails at the beginning of the shows. It's going to hurt you in your listenership and it's going to get you a big thumbs down more often than not. This is the way I do it. But your email got to be first on the show. So if you happen to check this one out, I'm going to label this one Ingersoll Lockwood Truth Seeker and then put it on there for you. You find it. But they're not all bad. They're not all bad. Two really fun ones, two really good ones. Can't wait to do. But yeah, I'll go ahead and do those because I've got something that's not an email. It's technically a message. I'll read it next. Dear Talk Junkie, I'm a longtime listener and first-time emailer. It has been hot where I live in Nevada, so on these hot days, I grab an ice cold bottle of Rolling Rock beer and a nice joint and listen to Talk Junkie and the Raving Television Addict and enjoy when you are on the Raving Television Addict the most. Mug and Brad seem like they are batshit insane. Beep. Sorry. I've read it. I've seen it before. Yeah. And drink the blood of newborn babies while you bring some sense of normal to the trio. That's a really big compliment because I've never considered the normal one, but those two guys are very funny and definitely not normal. I love those two. Lately been binge watching adult films and Quantum Leap. So I got to thinking of a question for you. But first, to bring you and the listeners up to speed on what Quantum Leap is. Alfred, Alfred, everybody knows what Quantum Leap is. If you don't know what Quantum Leap is, you pause this, go watch Quantum Leap. Um, Fans of Quantum Leap know that the series was about Sam Beckett leaping into people's bodies in different time periods, making making wrong things right. On his journey, helping him was his hologram friend Al that only Sam could see. My question is kind of a two-part question. Question one, we're going to address this question first. If Quantum Leap was real, who are three people in history you would want to leap into and why? Should have thought about that. I should have read, like I read it ahead of time, but I should have thought about it before I read it. Almost any great musician, because I just like to feel what it's like to be a great musician. And that's a selfish reason. I'm not changing anything or fixing anything. But almost any musician, if I had to pick one, and I guess the ideal thing would be to pick one that's deceased, because I probably would pick a living one if not. But let's go deceased. I know it sounds so cliche, and like he's not my favorite in certain regards. In certain regards, he is, but he was so different to anything else that's going on. I would say Hendrix, because I want to be a guitar player. I want to be a singer, and just like I kind of like to know what he was thinking when he was writing some of that stuff, because it was, it was really, really, really unique. Secondly, Ric Flair, even though he's still alive, and I would go to Little Justin, because Little Justin would listen to Ric Flair, and I'd tell him all the things that I want Little Justin to know as he grows up. So again, selfish, but that's that. Um, some dude that's there while they're building the pyramids. I'll see how they done it. I don't know. Like I'm not gonna pick. I would be baby Hitler's nanny and smother him out and stuff. Like, you know, what happens when you mess with the past? Like, does anything good come out of that? I don't know. So, you know, um, question two, who is the person that you would want to be your Al? That's easy. I don't even have to think about that. Young Jamie from the Joe Rogan Experience. Does anybody better at looking things up and knowing things and having great points of reference and researching things? He's going to grab Ziggy, the little computer, and I mean, it's instant. So that was from Alfred von Beckett uh, for Rumpf, Nevada. Thank you, Alfred. I think I know who that's from. That's not quite from Alfred, but that's pretty cool. If you listen to other podcasts that I listen to, Here to Chew Bubblegum, other stuff I'm on, you're going to recognize this name. And I got to find it right off. And I've been sitting on this since like the 18th. So I've had this one a while. I'll read as much of this as I can. I don't remember. I think there's stuff I probably have to censor. It's always an honor to get to sit down and write to you in the show. Out here on the trail, we are still so thrilled that Talk Junkie is back and better than ever. It makes our days melt away like a big stick of butter in one of Mama's iron skillets. We particularly enjoy the episodes live from the Newt. As soon as we listened to episode 144, we dropped the plows and tied up the horses and ran to the television to watch the Woodstock 99 documentary. Really sounds like music is a passion. All of us hope to hear more discussions from the Red Spotted Newt. Moving on. I don't know if I've mentioned it or not, but my neighbor's wife's sister-in-law listened to your poetry episode and was super excited because she too is a fan of poetry. So much so that Clara Faye Don wrote you a poem and asked me to pass it along. It will make her day if you'll read it on the show. Thanks in advance. Until next time, stay talking and we'll stay listening. Below is a copy of Clara Faye It's Clara Faye Don's poem, specially written for Talk Junkie. And this, of course, is from Bolin Cox. The poem's entitled A Love Poem. To me, you are a delicate flower, a rainfall, like a timeless virgin. I would climb the highest tower, one thumb, one thumb, like where's the surgeon? Star-crossed lovers fighting a blood clot. I listen to Talk Junkie, and on the couch, I leave, I leave a wet spot. I take off all my clothes and roll around in the grass. I can show you a sexy pose of my voluptuous round, and it rhymes with grass. Let's travel through the hills, let's travel through the hills though. Let's travel through the hills though and play a fun game. I'll bring the female adult stimulation probe. That's the best I can come with. And you bring the pain. Oh, thank you, Bolin Cox, and thank you to Clara Faye Don, an excellent poet. I mean, what kind, the Bukowski of her day. I don't, it's beautiful. I didn't do this episode. This is nothing big. This is just me goofing off, having fun. I didn't do this episode for any other reason really than to read that one email at the beginning of the email of the show, so this guy could hear it at the beginning of the show. I do the emails at the beginning of the show because I feel like by the time somebody sit through the whole episode and stuff, like they're not going to hang around for the emails. And it's cool to me that people want to write in. Like, I know who Bolin Cox is. Like, I know this guy personally. He's going to send me funny stuff whether I have this show or not. And Alfred, whatever, I know that dude. He's going to send me funny stuff, whatever. The guy who complained, I don't know him, but I really enjoyed your email, so please send it. And I do have a ton, but I have really, and going back and listening to myself, I do I'm going to do another mailbag episode where it's just emails. So I don't feel like, because I don't read every email that comes in, that I don't like them or anything like that. It's just, there's only so much time. Like, my shows can run really long sometimes, and I like to ramble. Everybody knows that now. I don't have a time limit. It's not like it used to be. So, I can't read them all. But, I'm constantly thinking about what can I do to make the show better? What can I do to keep myself motivated to do the show? I go through this stuff all the time. Can you all see the fruit gnats? Like, it's tripping me out. They're hitting my light, and but I go through this whole process in my mind of what can I do to make the show better? What can I do to make the show more fun for everybody and for me? And it always feels like I'm doing two shows. I'm doing the show that I feel like I have to do because it's the show I started doing, and I'm trying to do the show I want to do. And I got a lot of emails about the show with Here to Chew Bubblegum. Michelle, I don't have your email pulled up. That was a bad word that he said at the beginning of the show. I'm not going to apologize for him saying the word. I put explicit in the deal. What do you want me to do? I support free speech. I thought it was funny. I laughed. I'm not sorry. And I'm not saying that to be a jerk. It's like, if that's who you think you're listening to, like, you might be listening to the wrong. Like, if it had said something mean to like hurt you or to be mean, it wasn't mean natured. It was a joke. I don't, what do you want me to do? Because I will apologize anytime something needs to be apologized for. But that words, go back and listen to the episode on bad words. You'll understand how I feel. I mean, it's cut and dry. But I get a lot of emails saying, okay, what's the difference between the you have a beautiful lawn episode and then all of a sudden we've got Live from the Newt 2, or what's the difference between the Worker Bee episode and then all of a sudden you've got They Live with Here to Chew Bubblegum? The difference is I'm not a one-sided person. Like, I'm not a one-dimensional person. The show was very serious in the beginning with simpler, like with smaller portions of like funny stuff or less serious stuff sprinkled in with it. I was in a really dark place when I started this podcast. And that was the point in starting a podcast, is I was in a bad place and I wasn't enjoying things. And I wanted to do something I wanted to enjoy. And I keep falling out of love with doing the podcast. And look, I read the messages. I know what you're saying, and you're not wrong. I'm doing everybody else's show, you know, and seem to be having a great time. And like since I've started back, I've delivered twice more than I said I was going to deliver. I said 2 episodes a month. I think I've done 2 or 3 episodes that week that I said that. Like, I'm giving you more content, but it's going to be different. There are going to be these serious, drawn out, just conversations that I used to have. That is going to happen, especially when I'm in a more reflective or a darker, excuse me, a darker spot in life. It will happen, but it won't be all the time. And I've struggled with that from time to time, with saying, hey, you kind of promised them this, but you're not delivering it. Now you're either not delivering it at all, or you're delivering them this, which is not what they signed up for. And, you know, I thought the Talk Junkie TV would be a great way to do both. Talk Junkie TV can just be the stupid stuff that I want to do, and Talk Junkie can be the serious stuff with the occasional fun guest. And then I sit down and I've done all this research on Afghanistan, and I still feel passionately, excuse me, sorry, still feel passionately about what the episode was going to be about and what I was doing. But what impact was it going to have? I'd learned these things and I'd gained some knowledge and some insight myself. We abandoned Afghanistan in the 80s just like we did now. We have financed the people we've fought in the 80s just like we've now left them. Like, it's president after president make a mistake. It's little things we've done. It's just tons and tons and tons and tons of advisors saying, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And administration after administration doing it, doing it, doing it, doing it, doing it. And, stupid. It's a bunch of stupid. And I was going to be upset and I was going to be irritated like I am right now over doing it. And I recorded it and I canned it. And I don't, maybe I will air it at some point. But I got to thinking, like, I did the research for the same reason I researched 90% of the things I don't put on this podcast, because I had an interest in it and it was something I wanted to learn about. And just because I wanted to learn about it, just because I was interested in it, didn't mean I had to make a podcast out of it. But I felt like if I don't say these things, like, there's that core audience that has been there from the beginning. And I'm very appreciative of them. You know, 4 or 5 of them I know personally that are still around. And they like the thought process stuff, but they kind of like other stuff. Like Mandy, for example, has mentioned to me a lot of times, she hates when I do anything political, and but she really likes the music stuff and the art stuff. Like, everybody's gonna like different things, but I gotta enjoy it and I gotta like it. And as I was doing the Afghanistan episode, it was like, why are you doing this? Why? Because it wasn't what I wanted to do at the time. And I kept thinking, well, I've put all this research into it, and blah 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 blah. And I finished it, and I was like, that's supposed to drop tonight. And I'm sitting down to drop it, to put it out there. And I'm like, you know, I don't, I don't want, I don't want to. I don't want to. I didn't hurt anything. I mean, I can put it out right now, and you can download it if you liked it, and if you didn't, you didn't. But it's like I feel like I'm being dishonest by doing it. I know I'm being dishonest with myself, and I feel like I'm being dishonest to other people if I do it. And there was a message I got sent a while back, and we talked back and forth on Messenger. And at some point in this, the person's like, I know what you're going to do. You're going to put me on your podcast and say, don't use my name. It's just me and you talking. So I'm not going to use your name, but it's not just me and you talking now. It's that's me telling other people what you said. But I don't know who you are, so it doesn't matter. Dude, what's up with the podcast? I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What's up? I was like, what do you mean? And then I instantly put back, if you're talking about the lack of output, I'm just not feeling it right now. The reply was, I've noticed you've not been posting as much stuff, but kind of noticed that what you are posting isn't really you. I'm like, how do you figure? I'm trying to skip parts that's got names and stuff. I'm gonna say you guys or we. I'm gonna say we. I gotta censor it as I go, so it makes it a little more difficult to do. I kind of see why you kept it from me and insert name here. It's like when you sit down and hold court around all the guys and you sound really intelligent and you say something that's really, really thought provoking or really, really informative. Everybody's like, wow, Justin knows a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff. And that's cool. But that's not why we hang out with you. And that's not why everybody looks forward to seeing you pop up on the job and come around different areas. It doesn't say different areas. It says, so if I say that, yeah. Blah, 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 blah. You have beautiful blue eyes. You're sexy. Sorry, that may not be in there. I don't know. This is the part that kind of got me. As I listen to the podcast, I'm really impressed sometimes by the things you talk about and the things that you say. And it holds my interest. It holds my interest maybe because I know you, and maybe because the topic is somewhat interesting to me. But the thing that always sticks out to me that I just can't get out of my head is, where's Justin at? Where's the crude, rude, smart aleck insult comic at? Where's the guy that I can't say what he said that I said, and I did say it, but I can't say it here because I don't find a way to word that. And we're going to skip that part. I mean, I'm looking for the snarky, okay, yeah, the snarky guy that said something else that I can't say. This might have been a horrible idea. I don't know if I can say it or not. Yeah. Let me look at that and see how I'm going to word that. This is for worst podcast ever, because if you're watching the video, at least you can see something. But if you're listening to the podcast on the podcast, you can't see that I'm looking at the message as I'm reading it to you. And there's a lot of the message that I can't say. Basically, let's put the message away. He wants to know where the verbally abusive, smart aleck guy that's never serious and constantly goofs off is. And I don't know. That guy is not on Talk Junkie 90% of the time. That guy's poked his head out a couple times on Here to Chew Bubblegum. That guy's definitely dipped his toe in the water quite a bit on other shows, but and here I've done some things here. But where is it, dude? Like, I know the people that know me personally. I mean, really know me. Not people. It's the way it is. You meet me, and there's a couple months of me trying to prove to you I'm a decent human being. Then at some point, I get comfortable around you, and I unleash, and I become me. And you're either extremely offended by me and like, I don't want anything to do with that dude, or you really like it. It's all how dark your sense of humor is. It's all how crude you are. And that's really me. But that same person may turn around and want to talk to you for 30 minutes about poetry or about history or about economic downturns or about interventionist foreign affairs. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't have just one side. I don't. But I do have a limiter on myself. When I was on Raven Television Addict, I let that limiter go way back. Not all the way back, but way back. And I've never done it to that level here. And I don't know if I know how. I don't. Let me tell you two things about me. This may break it down better than anything. You guys are getting Justin that exists in the office when he has to go in the office at work. You guys are getting Justin that exists when there's a meeting or an audit, or I'm doing an inspection with people I don't know. You guys are getting the Justin that went to the college, and no, you're not even getting that. You're getting half the Justin that done the presentation. Well, you're getting the Justin that done the presentation with the younger students over the summer at the college program about his book. You're getting that Justin. You're getting what I guess normal people would call normal Justin, professional Justin, you know, um, TV friendly Justin. That's what you're getting. What you're missing is the Justin that has what a lot of people have deemed to be insult Tourette's. I say awful, horrible things to people. You're getting the Justin that laughs at things that makes most people think, God, what kind of human being laughs at that? You guys aren't getting the Justin that is always laughing and joking and having a good time and loose, and you're not getting the Justin that when he was almost right at 18 went to an open mic night, got on stage, and done 5 minutes. We were supposed to have 5 minutes. I done 5 minutes of actually trying to tell jokes, and then went off and started doing crowd work and insult comic work for almost 15 more minutes before they finally made me leave, and made a vast majority of those people laugh, and at least 4 people want me dead. You're not getting that, Justin. You're not getting the Justin that my wife knows. You're not getting the Justin my buddy Hoover knows. You're not getting the Justin that the people from work know, the guys I work with every day. You're not getting the Justin that Mandy, who came on and done the podcast with me, knows and has known since high school. You got a good part of that Justin, a good chunk of that Justin on that episode with her. And you got a good part of that Justin that in small doses in that They Live episode. You got a lot of that Justin on the Raven Television Attic episodes, but I've never just gave it all, just all of that. And that's not meaning to flood it, because me as a person, I'm a mixture of those two things. But for some reason, I've held back that other part and just given you like Sam's Choice Justin, like Rocky Top Justin, like, Fago Justin. Not giving you, I'm giving you Mountain Holler Justin, and you've not got Mountain Dew Justin. Some of it is fear of backlash for things that I say, not for me, because I don't care. And I think people who really know me will vouch for that. I literally don't care what people think about me. I don't judge other people, so I don't care if you judge me. That reflects negatively upon you. I could care less. My language is much different, and I've been dishonest about that, and that's bothered me. Like, I do have a dirty mouth sometimes, you know, and I just don't hear. And is it the platform? Is it afraid who? Like, I'm almost 40. I'm afraid of my dad, but I don't think my dad's going to hit me over saying a bad word. But I know he would disapprove. You know, my kids. Like, I've never said a bad word in front of my son. My daughter's older now. She's 22, getting ready to be 23. Um, So she knows me more, that way than, but my son's never heard that. I don't know. I don't know. For somebody that doesn't like censorship, I have censored myself for the entirety of this show. And it's not fun. Like, that's why the show's not been fun. And that's why I get burnt out. There's people I want to have on. I'm afraid to have them. I'm afraid of what they'll say. The guys from Raven Television Addict are supposed to do a Halloween special with me. I've worried about that since I asked them to do it because I was afraid of what they'd say. I shouldn't be, because they should be able to say whatever they want to say. And whatever they say is going to make me laugh, and it's going to be horrible, and it's going to be, uh, I, I don't want to go over the top with it, but I want them to be them, because if they're not, it's not going to translate. And that podcast is not going to be for everybody. It's not. you know and I've not talked to anybody about this. It's just kind of me. I've talked to Malik. Malik's a guy, if you've listened to the show, who very much is there for um, the thought process of it. And he's been a big supporter, and I sent him a short little email kind of explaining what I explained to you guys. And I was like, what does this mean? Does this mean that the people like you that are down for this one type of discussion, I'm going to lose that part of the audience? Is that what it means? And it's like, no, man. It means that you're figuring out who you really are and you're growing. And I didn't send him anything else back, and it was a couple days, and he sent me something back, but then we corresponded again. But that's all that needed to be said. You hear all that? That's side by sides. This area that I'm in right now is about to be side by side heaven. I mean, heaven. There's going to be more cousins kissed next week than you can imagine. Not because all people who ride side by sides kids are cousins. Only like 85%. And I ride side by sides. Me and my wife are probably related somehow. I don't know. We come from a small town. There's only like 3 last names. But it's the area I'm in. It's yeah, it's gonna be fun, real fun. So I hear that cruising by all night while I'm trying to make video. I don't even know if y'all can pick it up. I don't know how good this mic is. I don't have a clue. But I don't know what I was saying now. Start talking about inbreeding and yeah. Oh, but anyway, I'm not gonna make this go on forever. It's just supposed to be a little short episode, which they never are. Look for Talk Junkie TV. I know I had a whole train of thought going there, and I was saying something profound. It's going to change your life. You know what I mean? You were gonna everything was gonna fall into line for you, and I lost it. I don't know. So I'm gonna say what I want to say now, and that's this. Keep an eye out for Talk Junkie TV, and that will be on YouTube. And if you're listening to this on a podcast, you won't be able to get Talk Junkie TV on the podcast. It will be separate from the podcast. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Don't have a clue. Don't know. I was on my own TV show, and I'm like, screw it. I'm going to do it. Screw it and do it. I'd like to tell you for sure that the episode's going to drop Thursday, but I don't know. I mean, if I can get in and get it recorded, it will. Hopefully, lined up 3 other guests tonight doing someone else's podcast. That's always a plus. Hang in there. Send your email. You don't like the way it's going, or you think I'm making a mistake, send me something, tell me something. If you like what I'm doing, you like the change, you like this different, so let me tell you something. If there's too much of one, not enough of the other, send it. Tell me something. It's talkjunkie@gmail.com. Communicate with me. I'll communicate with you. If you hate the show and there's just something about it that irks you, please send that email. Because like that guy's email I read earlier, I'm not exaggerating with him. I'm not lying to you about emails and things like that. I don't get hundreds of emails every week. Some weeks it's 10 emails. Some weeks it's 2 emails. once in a blue moon, it's 25 or 30. It's never a massive amount. I don't know if it's ever been 30, maybe 15 to 20. I don't know. It's inflation. Somewhere around. It's not 30 sounds better. But send it. If you got something bad to say about me, it's probably going to be the first one I read. I'm going to love it. It is what it is. You can message me. I'm finally on social media. I like Good Jive. Um, when I did all these really serious podcasts, I would always end the show with a quote. You know, it's always something serious. You know, and I thought, if I'm being me, I mean, I'm really being me. Those quotes mean something to me. They do. But there's other quotes that mean things to me. There's a guy, I believe his name is Ty Webb. He's a professional golfer. Gave it all up. Be a pro on a little nothing golf course. And he had a young caddy named Danny caddying for him that year. Danny's looking for the secrets to life, you know. And you can Google this story, and it'll bring it all up for you. Um, Danny asked Ty, what a what's something, basically, I'm paraphrasing, that Ty could tell him about life that would help him. Ty was a very unorthodox golfer. He has no shoes on, blindfolded. But he'd go to putt and he'd go, no, 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 no. I can't do it. And Danny asked him, that the gist of that. Ty looks at him and he goes, Danny, be the ball. Be the ball, Danny.